What's up, Raider Nation? I'm Hardcore Raider, and this is Hardcore Raider Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about Raiders leadership and Derek Carr. Yeah, that's right. It's the answer and the question of the decade, right? All right. First of all, mad shout out to Kenny for doing that dope beat. If you guys need a dope beat, man, make sure you hit Kenny up because he brings it, and he'll set you guys up real solid. So please check out Kenny if you guys need or want a dope beat. So first thing I want to dive into is kind of why I'm doing this video. First of all, I've dedicated about 10 years of my life to management. I've also owned my own business, small construction remodeling business. And there's a lot of things I've learned in leadership. I dedicated a lot of years of my life about being a leader and trying to become a good leader. My motivation to become a leader, it wasn't a financial gain. I mean, maybe my early 20s, my first leadership role was maybe part of that, I would say, to be honest. But after that, my motivation was to be a better leader than those that I had experiences with, you know, like learn how to teach people how to fish, how to communicate, how to game plan, how to work with other people. You know, I was in the Army. I'm an Army combat vet. I've seen good leadership in the Army. I've seen bad leadership. To be honest with you, you can be in the Army, and if you just stay out of trouble long enough, you'll get promoted to a position of leadership, whether or not you're a good leader. And I kind of had a problem with that. But after I got out of the Army, I dedicated a lot of years to being a manager and trying to become a good manager at that. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about leadership. And after I talk about leadership, I am going to talk about Derek Carr a little bit. So either plug your ears or turn it up. But either way, we're going to dive into Derek Carr and his leadership and these Oakland Raiders, okay? And it's some things I've observed for a long time about the Raiders and Derek Carr and the leadership. So first of all, if you want to be a leader, if you're under good management or good leadership, you have to learn how to follow, okay? If you don't have a good leader in your life, you got to find someone that has wisdom and seek out that wisdom from them. But the best way you can learn how to be a leader, believe it or not, is to learn how to follow. Because those people, if they know how to lead and they know how to lead right and they're a good leader, they're a good manager, a good boss, whatever it might be, you can learn a lot from them. And you can take little nuggets from them and their style. And then as you move on in life, you can learn from other people and their management style. And you can eventually, you'll have enough nuggets where you put it in a pot and you can come up with your own way of how you want to proceed with it, okay? Like I said, my motivation wasn't for financial gains. It does help you make more money. But, you know, like my standards, my goals were higher than just a financial gain, okay? So I want to get that right out the way right now. Next thing is so say you're a leader or you just became a leader or a manager or something and you get put into a role. Maybe you've been a manager or maybe you get a job where you're the new manager. You're like the new kid on the block, okay? And so once you have a team, and this is whether you have like you're managing 3 people or 10 people, okay? When you go into a situation where you're a new manager, like how do you approach the situation? Do you go in at guns a-blazing? You got to do this, and this is my way. We're not doing that no more, or whatever. Or do you spend some time evaluating? Okay, that's super important. I used to go in guns a-blazing. You know, this is how it's got to be done. These are my standards and stuff. But the problem with that is essentially if you take that approach, you're using a form of fear to get people to follow you. Okay, and fear only works for so long in life, no matter what job or position or whatever it is. Eventually people will stop being fearful and they won't want to follow you. So you have to have something bigger than that. Same with a reward. If you do something because you have a financial reward in it or something like that, you know, like that again is one of those things that you will eventually be tired of that reward and you'll want another reward or another reward. Like your motivation and whatever you do in life has to be something deeper than just either fear or some sort of like trophy at the end of it. That's always my opinion. And it has to be something like really strung deep within your soul that makes you tick. Okay, you got to find that why question. You got to find that drive. You got to find that inspiration of what you're doing and why you're doing that. Okay, you can't use fear or accomplishments to other people to truly motivate them. It can help at times, but that cannot be your main motivation. So I apologize, I made some banners here, but um, you know, becoming a leader to a new team. The way I look at, like, if you come into you're a manager and you come in there and you're the new guy, there's several things you have to do. And listen to this very closely. You find the problems, because there's always going to be problems no matter what situation. And most businesses and stuff, if they hire you, it's usually because someone else left, or a lot of times because there might be issues of the job. They're looking for a new change, a new twist. Same goes in football when there's changeover in football. But you got to find the problems. You got to evaluate the problems, evaluate the situations, and evaluate the people. Essentially, it's like a probationary period. So when you come onto the scene, you don't go in guns a-blazing. You have to evaluate. I'm going to repeat them again. Evaluate the problems, situations, and people. Okay, so have this broad perspective. Don't go in with a one-track mind, and essentially you're in an observation period where you're seeing who your winners are, who your losers are, the keepers, the non-keepers. Like I like to call it, like, where's your quarterbacks at kind of thing. Like, you got to figure out where everybody is on this team when you approach the situation before you have like too brass of a judgment, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you cannot be too quick to judge when you go into that situation. Okay, you will lose the team. Trust me, I've done it. I've failed. It took me. I wasn't a good manager, and I will say I was a pretty damn good leader. I wasn't a good manager until about 5 or 6 years into it. That's how long it took me. I was good, but like, to be really good and to understand people and certain things I'm going to teach in this, it takes a lot of years of dedication to become good at your craft, and things you've learned along the way, those nuggets. How do you want to apply them, and all that. And I always seeked out wisdom from other people who had it, you know what I mean, and use those things. So the first thing I want to talk about is problems. Okay, now anytime you have a problem in a job place, I call it the spider web effect. Okay, because most people at the job, say you have 5 problems. Okay, each problem breaks into another 5 problems. And those 5 problems right here break into another 5 problems. It's a spider web effect. So here's what most managers do in any business. And I've done manufacturing, construction, retail. I've done plenty of different lines of work. And the equation is almost always the same for problems. Okay, so with this spider web, because every problem branches out into other problems. That's why I call it spider web effect. To see, most people start with the 5 problems. Okay, they want to repair this, but they don't start at the end. They don't trace it back to figure out where the real problem was. They put a band-aid on it, and that band-aid, guess what? The problem keeps coming up over and over and over again, and people will pull their hair out, and they just keep regurgitating through this process. And all it really is a band-aid, dude. It's literally the definition of insanity. So if you want to truly correct the problem, you got to trace it back to its source. You cannot just put a band-aid on an open flesh wound and expect it to be fixed. You're going to keep having the same problems over and over and over again. All right. The next thing is situations. Okay. With each like employees and stuff and situations, like, you got to find strengths and weaknesses on your team. Okay. I've had people who was like a delivery driver, and they were a great delivery driver, but they weren't the best when I would have them do like assembly and stuff. Okay. Now, it didn't mean that he wasn't a good delivery driver. It just means, like, for some of the other things that I might have needed that person for, that wasn't their main like strength. Okay. So it meant I rely on them for their strengths because they're a delivery driver. And then where their weaknesses were, I had to work with them a little more on that. That is training. And that's a part of being a leader and bringing the best out in your people. The analogy I always used when I was a manager was a football analogy, because I love football. Okay, so if you have a quarterback, right, on your team, and you have an offensive lineman, your offensive lineman could probably throw the ball, right? Your quarterback could probably block. but you probably don't want your quarterback blocking, right? You probably don't want your offensive lineman throwing the ball. Okay. Does that mean your offensive lineman is not a good offensive lineman? No, he's still a good offensive lineman, but you cannot expect him to be your quarterback. Your quarterback is your leader. He is your go-to guy that's going to lead the team. He is the guy that when things get tough, you could rely on him, that he's going to be there, that if you need him to stay at the job for another half an hour or an hour to get the job done, that's your guy. You got to identify who your quarterbacks are and who your offensive linemen are. It doesn't mean they aren't good at what they do, but certain people have certain characteristics and traits that have potential to maybe be a leader one day if you help them along, and other people don't. But you have to identify people's strengths and weaknesses. So rely on their strengths, right? And then where they're weak, you try to help them grow. But they may never be a quarterback. You can have an offensive lineman throw the ball 1,000 times. Guess what? He's probably never going to be a quarterback, but he's still a good offensive line. So understand that. Like what I'm telling you guys, it's like 10 plus years that took me to learn, maybe not learn it, but what I'm telling you is a lot of years of experience in management. So find your strengths and weaknesses on your team and evaluate it after that, okay? Next thing, all right, people. Those people that you depend on, their qualities, their worth, their training, figure out who's worth investing in, your time of training them, okay? If it's a quarterback and you're like, man, I really see something in this guy or girl or whatever, however you want to word it, but if you have an employee and you're like, man, they really have these characteristics, okay? For me, integrity is always important. Why is integrity important? I can teach any dummy anything, no matter what job I learn and I master, but trying to teach somebody integrity is extremely hard. If you got to find people that have the proper and the right characteristics, and you can usually teach them skill sets later on. Now, yes, some people are more naturally gifted than other people. I mean, that's the obvious. Not everybody's going to have the same skill sets for quarterback, running back, or whatever else. But that's like Gruden and Mayock. They said they were looking for high characteristic guys, dude. Like, I already knew that before they said that. That's why when they said that, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I already knew that, man. I was looking for that my 10 plus years in management and owning my own business and stuff. So anyways, find the people worth investing in and invest in those people. Invest your time, invest your energy, get to know personal things about them. And I'm not saying the people that aren't, don't be like courteous to them, but there's always going to be a difference to who the winners are and who the maybe mediocres are. That's just the reality of life. Okay. Filter out the cancers from the team. I've said before in my team building video, I believe it was, and whatnot, but like I can train. Stuff falls either on training, either me better as a manager, or how to train that person to do better, or it might be someone that's just maybe not very smart, but I can train a smart, non-smart person. Okay. So it could be a communication thing or a non-smart thing. And then lastly is if somebody is rebellious and they're just kind of giving you the middle finger behind your back. The worst is if they're like, yeah. And the next thing you know, they're like, trashing you behind your back. Man, those people in any job you do, they don't last. And they're like an evil seed. They're just a cancer that will infect the area, and they got to go, man. I could tell you stories for days, but just trust me. If you identify them, give them a shot. Maybe you can change them around, but most likely they are dust in the wind. So sift out the wheat from the tare. That's what I'm saying. If you guys know what I'm saying, sift out the wheat from the tare. All right. How to build a team. Okay. You're in this leadership role. How do you build a team? What do you got to do? All right. I did the team building video, right? Vision, standards, communication, motivation, accountability, relationships, growth. Go watch my team building video. All those things are extremely important. So I'm not going to revisit them all here. You guys can find it and you guys can watch it. And, but I will touch on a couple key things that I said within that video that I'll revisit right now, which is as a manager, like I gave a lot of different areas, about how to build a team. But one of the things I'll tell you about is communicate the vision. So whatever your vision or goals are and the direction you're going, that's huge. Okay. Because how you communicate it and what you communicate, a lot of people in life, unfortunately, they're going to pull out the dummy card. I didn't know better. Oh, it is what it is, People, you give them an out and they will take an out. That's just the reality of how people are. Sometimes you have to dumb it down, or sometimes maybe you have to change your process to get a better result out of mediocre employees or mediocre people. But you never, ever, ever lower your damn standards. I do not lower my standards to accept your mediocrity. Think about that. I do not lower my standards to accept your mediocrity. Now, I'm not going to tone it down so that I cannot thrive to be great. You got to step up to the plate to be great. And that's something to think about. Really take that deep, because what does that mean? Are you accepting mediocrity, or are you thriving to be great, or at least good? But don't accept mediocrity. And I'm not lowering my standards so somebody else can be mediocre. You know, if I'm running, I'm not going to slow down to catch up, you know, so you can catch up. You better hurry up. You know, that's the real name of the game. That's the real way to be successful, to be an entrepreneur, man. You got to start sprinting. Now, everybody, yeah, you may not be able to sprint at first. You got to start jogging, you know, but eventually you'll be sprinting, you know, and that's part of it, you know, and evaluating. So, when you set these standards, well, no matter what it is in life, you have to live by them. It's part of that integrity. You set the standards, you set the bar. Okay, I'm not lowering my standards. These are the standards. These are the expectations. This is what we have to do. I'll tell you right now, if I'm a manager, I'm going to give you 10 hours worth of work in an 8-hour day. Are you going to accomplish all of them? No, you won't. I'm going to give you more than you can handle, because if I give you if I give you 8 hours of work, you're going to only do like 6. And if I give you 6, you'll do 4, and so on and so forth. And the flip side to that, if I give you 10 hours worth of work and a hiccup arises, you know, and you're not able to complete that task, guess what? You can move on to the next thing, and you will still have plenty to keep going. So you are a productive human being. So you can earn your paycheck, earn your way, and, you know, essentially work towards the goal. You're working towards the standard and the expectation. Okay. Next thing, accountability. Hold people accountable. Believe it or not, in life, people want to be held accountable. They do, whether you know it or not. I know that you want accountability. Everybody wants like a certain flow in this life where, you know, we have standards and we live by them. We accomplish those goals, and we are appreciated because we accomplish the tasks that were given to us. That's just the natural way that all human beings are, you know? So people want accountability. You know, if anybody that's out there and they're just doing whatever the hell they want, you know, deep down inside, they want structure, because that's what I'm talking about. That's what this comes down to. That accountability has to do with a form of structure, you know? And then, you know, your kindness versus weakness. All right. If I ask you, please, and I'm kind to you, do not take it as a weakness. If I'm not yelling and coming off the handle, which I shouldn't have to stick my foot up right up your ass to get you motivated to do your damn job, right? You should be self-motivated. So at some point, like, you have to be kind to people. You have to appreciate people, care for them, but don't take advantage of me and think that that is a weakness, because then you're going down a very bad path. You're going down that accountability path where, you know, whether it's a write-up or whatever, like, you get reprimanded and essentially a form of punishment, if you will, but you are paving your own path. You know, I would tell people like this, man, if you go out and you get hammered and you come in hung over, and either you get written up or you get sent home or whatever, unless I poured alcohol down your throat, is that my fault? Is that my fault your dumbass was doing that? I mean, I try to be forgiving. I'll be honest. I've sent people home that were hammered, and I didn't fire them. I let them come back to work the next day, and we start over. We start fresh, and we see if we can, you know, make things right moving forward. I've done that for people, you know. So I'm not saying fry people at the stake, but at the same time, like, that accountability, man. Like, if you're doing something yourself in your own personal life, dude, that's a lack of integrity, man. You can't blame other people for your own lack of integrity. You got to have self-accountability. You got to have self-motivation. You got to have a self-drive within your soul for the choices that you make. And I'm not saying don't have mercy and compassion on people, but people have to be held accountable. Most people, they'll just keep taking advantage of you over and over again, and they'll just stomp right over you. All right. I already talked about not accepting mediocrity, and complacency kills a team. The Army teaches that, but that is true. No, I mean, it's true in the Army because literally people could like physically die. But even in the workplace, people that are complacent, the people that work hard versus the people that don't work as hard, like the people that work hard are carrying extra workloads versus the people that don't work as hard, you know? And sometimes people naturally they get complacent. You know, we're all excited. We get a new job first 3-6 months. Like, man, I love this thing. Next thing you know, a year later, 2, 3, 4 years later, it's just like, oh, I gotta go work. Just the way people are. We all naturally get complacent, I think, you know, but you always got to have a goal or something to thrive on so you don't fall in the complacency category. Complacency is like this tunnel that will suck you in and take you down. And that's the end. And if you get there, close the book, close the chapter, and move on to the next thing, man. That's just it. You always got to find something to give you drive, man, no matter what it is in life. In my opinion, it should be something more than monetary gain, or whether it's fear or accomplishments. You got to have something that makes you drive, because when times get tough, when times get real tough, that's when you will keep driving on. That's when you show the kind of man or woman you are. That's when you show the kind of leader you are. That's when you show the kind of character you are, is when the times get tough. And when times get tough, if the money's not there, or you have to take a lesser job or whatever, guess what? You're going to struggle, and you're going to struggle hard. And how do you think I know that? Because I've lived it, man. I got out of the Army. I was almost fucking homeless. 2.5 years of struggling my ass off, moving back to California right when the economy crashed in 2008. Man, hopping couches and stuff just to stay alive, selling everything I had to stay alive. But the drive in my soul was stronger than anybody else I came across. How do you think I have drive now? Because I struggled. I've lived it. I grew up poor. I grew up on food stamps. I graduated high school to kids that were getting cars and going to colleges and stuff. And I knew that wasn't my reality. I'll be honest. I actually cried on my graduation day. You know why? Because I knew my life was going to fucking be tough. And I bucked up. I started feeling sorry for myself. You know what I said? I said, I'm going to outwork every motherfucker I see right here. And I did it. And I lived it. And I'm living proof that what I'm teaching you here can make a difference in your life. Was I an asshole? Fuck yeah, I was. I used anger to give me drive. Have I backslid at times? Maybe even now, a hardened heart, if you will, because of certain things in my life? Yeah, I have. I'll be honest. But my drive surpassed other people's drive. I was working 3 jobs, dude, 7 days a week, 14, 16 hours a day when I was 21, dude. Nobody was doing that my age, dude. People were out partying, having a good time, sniffing cocaine, right? But I stayed on the beaten path, man, or the unbeaten path, because nobody else was doing it. I'm living testimony of what I've been able to accomplish in my life now. Do I financially make a little bit more? Yeah, I do. But I've worked my ass off for it too. And I know where I've been. I always tell people, know where you've been, know where you're at, and know where you're going. Why is that important? Because I know my past. I know what it's like to suck mud. I know what it's like to kick my boots in Iraq. I know what it's like to suck. And I know how bad that pain was. That's the last thing I want for my family, because I've lived it. Where I'm at, that's right now, today. Where I'm going, those are my dreams and goals that I have set in front of my life that I'm going to work my ass off for to accomplish those things. And I'm not going to give up. And that's what gives me drive. That's why when I wake up in the morning, I get my boots on. I say, let's do this, man. Take names, kick ass. Let's go. No matter how bad my body hurt or my back hurts. All right. Now we've built a team. Now what? We've made it, right? We got a team. I taught you guys some stuff how to build a team. We're there, dude. We're great. That's not correct. Now that you've built a team, now what? I'm going to tell you what. You've earned your team's respect. They've bought into you. They follow you. Your team follows you. Now what? Don't be their friend. One of the hardest things I ever had to learn in management, dude. I used to get friends jobs when I was a manager at like 21. I thought it was great, dude. We get a party together, man, after work a little bit. Oh, man, everything's great, man. All those people didn't take me serious. They didn't respect me. They thought I was their friend. They could not separate the workplace and personal life. You cannot, if you want to be a leader and the best leader you can be, you cannot be their friend. I'm going to tell you what right here. If you end up homeless or jobless and you can't put food on the table, none of those friends will be there for you. 98% of those people will be there for you. In life, you're lucky if you have one or two true friends, and then you have friends, and you have one or two friends, and then you have acquaintance friends, and then everybody else are acquaintances. We get confused. We think our acquaintance party friends are our real friends. That's not reality. And the sooner you learn that, the better off you'll be. I'm not saying don't have friends. I'm not saying be a prick to people and stuff like that. But in the workplace, yes, be compassionate, be considerate, but always understand you are there for a purpose. You're not there to sit there and ass grab with people. You're there to do a damn job, right? You're there, if you're on a team or you're a leader of a team, you are there to lead men on a multi-billion-dollar sport, in the best sport in the sports history, and that's the Raider Nation. This ain't about grabbing asses, man. This is about leading men and getting the best out of those men. If you struggled and you've been at the bottom, then you should know and have that drive deep within your soul of how to fight at all costs, and that you will do nothing at any cost, because nothing is going to get in the way of you and your goals. Why do you think Rich Gannon was a prick? Do you guys know how Rich Gannon's career was before he was an Oakland Raider? Let's think about that. What was he on, the Vikings, the Chiefs? How much of that time was he a starting quarterback? He even come to the NFL as a quarterback. He was like a safety out of college or something, dude. I mean, that guy struggled. When he came to the Raiders, he was hungry. What does it mean to be hungry? You don't know what it means to be hungry unless you've been hungry. And then you're real hungry, because you know what it's like to go without. You know what I'm saying? So be a leader. Don't be afraid. I've had friends on the job and I regretted it. Were you friends afterwards? Some of them. Some weren't. Some of them, things just went south. And just don't mix work and pleasure, man. I'm telling you right now, do not mix work and pleasure. You're at work to work. Your playtime is your playtime. You separate that, you will be much more successful and happier. You know, I purposely, later on in life, I didn't always go to the bar to grab a beer with some friends that I work with or whatever. No, dude. You lose respectability as a leader when you do that, because they get things twisted about, oh man, we're the best buddies now. But then when you need them to step up to the plate to get the damn job done, they get things twisted that I'm your friend. No, we're here to get a job done. We're here to accomplish a mission. You got to understand that. It's not personal, okay? It's not about your personal little feelings. You're all caught up with yourself. It's about a bigger purpose than that. And if you're a leader and you don't live by these standards and by the things your boss gives you, guess what? You could be the one on the chopping block right before Christmas, and that sucks. All right. All right. So you're seeing success and results. Okay. You're seeing results from your people. What do you do now? What do you do now? If you've coached these people, you've trained them, you've separated these things, you've figured out who your real quarterbacks are and all that stuff. What do you do now? Okay. How do you maintain success? What was your standards, and how close are you to your goals? Okay, that's important. That where you at, where you've been, where you're going, that kind of thing. You got to have a self-evaluation of the team. You got to sit there and be like, all right, we've had some success. Now what? You got to keep showing appreciation. keep having the communication, all the things I said and building a team in that video I did. You got to still maintain all those things, and you got to add to. Imagine that. You got to add to the big pile stack that I've already taught you guys to keep achieving it. People, believe it or not, and I'll cover some of this another time, but people, believe it or not, they will backslide in areas that they are succeeding at. It's maintenance, dude. You have to keep them on their toes a lot of times because they'll end up regurgitating back to how things used to be sometimes. You have to relearn the same lessons. And you're like, man, why do I have to relearn this? Didn't we just go through this? It's like, you start pulling your hair out, you know? I used to wake up, had to be at work 6 in the morning. And like, I kid you not, man, within the first 15 minutes I was there. So, you know, at the time I didn't even drink coffee back then, but you know, it was like someone took a poop in my cup of coffee and I'd only been on the job like 5-10 minutes, dude. I'm like, what's going on here? You know, I'm not even drinking coffee anymore. I'm drinking a big pile of poop. You know, you got to find ways to keep your team achieving the goals and setting new standards and setting new goals so they don't get complacent. That's the moral of the story. There is no finish line, believe it or not. No matter what you accomplish in life. Oh, I got a new car. 5 years later, you want another new car. You know, you gotta keep always setting goals and standards and never accept mediocrity. Hell no. Have that integrity and have that drive within your soul. All right. So raise the bar and continuing success, and then the fine line, right? A lot of these things I'm going to tell you guys, it's such a fine line. It's like sometimes you'll be barely hanging on by a thread, but the fine line is encouragement versus criticism. At what point do you like encourage people, you know, and at what point do they maybe need a foot in their ass? You know, there's people out there that won't be self-motivated unless I motivate you. But when I previously told you guys about what you have to do about evaluating your people, you already did that. You found out who your guys were and who your guys weren't and stuff. So you have to like understand that not everybody's the same. Certain people have skill sets there, certain have skill sets there, and you have to like essentially get the best out of each of those people, but everybody's different. And so you have to work to understand their learning style, their personalities of how to get the best in them. I'm not saying like necessarily change for each individual person. Always be you. Don't be fake. Okay. You know, people see right through that. You'll lose a team if you do that crap. But essentially you have to, at times you might need to criticize somebody, you know, you might need to give them a compliment and then be like, hey, we need to improve in this area. You know, this is like, you're doing good here, but moving forward, let's do better in these areas, you know? And you always got to have that self-perspective of the team. All right? All right. Never feel like you've made it. You know, I used to have a saying, you know, I still use it actually, but I used to have a shirt, that said, you're only as good as your last trick. You're only as good as your last trick. It was a stupid shirt. But as I got older in life, I started thinking about that shirt. I didn't even like the shirt. It was ugly. It was like brown or something, dude. But that shirt to me had an important saying that I always tried to live with in life. You know, I used to, like 20 years old, or maybe even late 20s, get something done. I'm like, I'm the shit, man. Look at me. I've accomplished something. Yeah, got a paycheck. Look at this, you know, kind of thing. You know, it don't mean shit. Good for you. You scored a touchdown. Do it again. Do it again, as Gruden would say, right? When you accomplish things, you got to always keep bringing it to the table. I do construction, dude. I've done some like pretty damn amazing things I could tell you guys about. But I try to be humble and contrite. I do. I'm not always there, but I do. No matter what cool thing I built or did, it doesn't mean anything. I got to go do it again. You know, I got to keep putting food on the table. You got to keep bringing it and keep doing something awesome again and again and again. That's part of life. You want to be great? Don't get caught on what you just did. Don't get so focused that you can't see like this and you got tunnel vision and you're so focused on what you just did. Because when the next opportunity comes, guess what? Woo! Passes you by. And you're focused on the last touchdown you got instead of the next one that you should have just freaking caught. Go figure. All right. People, and it is what it is. Man, I'm telling you, dude. It is what it is. It is what you make it. It is what you make it. And either you make it better or you don't. Either you change it, you make it better, or you don't. Or you accept it. That's essentially a serenity prayer. If you guys don't know it, look it up. It's a pretty damn good, important thing about life. You know, accepting mediocrity and saying it is what it is. Some things in life, yeah, maybe they truly are. It is what it is. But too many people, man, you guys got to stop saying that crap. You guys are accepting mediocrity and not striving to be great most of the time. And you don't even know it. People open up a foot in the mouth and they don't even know what the hell they're saying. They're just saying it because everybody else in the world says it. I'm sick of it. Raise the standards, set the bar, and strive to be great. Don't strive to be mediocre. It is what it is. Well, I guess being 4-12 is okay. Dude, come on, man. Raider Nation, we're going to make it better. I'm not accepting mediocrity. Remember what I said? You got to catch up to me. I'm running. I ain't giving up. I'm running. You better stop jogging and start running. That's what I'm saying. It is what I make it, and I'm making it better. We make it better. All right. Sometimes in life, with integrity, believe it or not, you may have to go against the grain. There's jobs and there's situations in life where you might have to take the lickings later to make the right choice in life. Something that maybe you were guided or directed from your management, maybe your boss, but you know better in here. You know better that you can do something differently to, strive to be great, to accomplish the goal or whatever it might be. And within that, you cannot have a situation where if you know better and you choose not to, where you're going to go against the grain, or excuse me, sorry, I had someone walk in here and distracted me. But anyways, you essentially may have to go against the grain to get the job done. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you have bad leadership or a bad direction, and you're going to have to be that, take that target on your back, take one for the team to go against the grain to get the damn job done because you know better within your own soul. And it sucks. It sucks to put a target on your back. I've done it. I've lived it. You know, I had a situation. I was a manager in manufacturing. I'd been there about a month, and this place had a lot of issues, and we kept having the same problems. Remember that spiderweb effect? This is how I learned the spiderweb effect, by the way. All right. In that job, I'm not going to tell you the exact situation, but we kept having problems in this manufacturing place. Same problem. And I couldn't figure out why. And we have these job cards that tells you exactly how to do it and what has to get done each part and blah, blah, blah. But I started noticing that a bunch of these job cards had the blueprints, either what it told the people to do were wrong or the blueprints were wrong. And these are jobs this company had done. I'm the new guy. I'm the new kid on the block. This company had done for 6 to 8 years. 6 to 8 years, this company had done jobs for this customer, and nobody ever corrected the issue. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But I knew from my years previously of management that you can't go into guns a-blazing. So I saved these job cards. Each one was like maybe about 1/8 inch thick. I saved them until, I kid you not, I had about a stack that big. And I waited about 3, 4, it may have even been 6 months. I waited a while because I knew it was going to open up a can of worms. But I did the right thing. I went against the grain. I took my integrity, and I took them up to the engineering office. I was gracious about it. I wasn't like, what the hell, and coming off the handle. I was like, hey, we got an issue. I've noticed it. I've kind of kept these. I wanted to try to, assess the situation. And, you just got to think about a way how you communicate, how you present it so you can get a better result. If you come out guns a-blazing, usually you'll get negative results. Unless it's a situation where, you might need to be a little more vocal to get the point across. But those are situations you have to evaluate. These are situational circumstances. Situational circumstances. Situational circumstances are circumstances that each has its own situation that you have to evaluate before you approach it. Every circumstance has its own situation. All right? That's deep. But anyway, so, all right. I take these job cards to the engineer, and they're like, wow, I don't understand why we're having a problem now. We've been doing this job for like 8 years. So you see what's happening here? This person essentially is looking at me like I'm the problem because they've had this shit fucked up for the last 8 years, and because I'm the new guy on the block, I'm the problem. No. Remember I said I'm running? They did not have the integrity, or no one was smart enough to fix it permanently, so we would stop having the same mistakes. So we would stop being a hamster spinning in the wheel. I did that, and it put a target on my back, and it sucked. But I mustered that up right here because I knew in my soul I was doing the right thing. And I don't like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again. No, I'm not that guy. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be great. Remember, everything what it takes to be great. And me doing that, even if it put a target on my back, I still strive to be great. There was many jobs after just that situation. I had to go up to engineering with different customer, same job, different customer, with the same issue, and have the engineering correct it. And every time I went up there, I was getting my nuts kicked in, literally, like I'm the problem. And I'd been there 4 years, and and I'm still finding like jobs they done for customers that had been wrong for years and years before I even got there. It's just funny, man. People in the workplace, they don't want to own up to be like, man, we should have caught that. We should have done better. Instead, they want to attack me personally because you're wrong, because you don't have the integrity, because it is what it is, and you accept mediocrity. No, man, that's not how real life works. That's a fairy tale that most of the world has accepted. I'm not accepting it. All right. Pretty emotional day. Still trying to calm down off of the Raider game. But I will say this. Any situation, I'm not the best at this. I'm a very emotional person, okay? But if you have a situation, remember I said I kept all those job cards for like 4 months or whatever? I was pissed when I first found out. I'll be honest. I was livid. But you cannot act off of your emotions. Emotions will die down, and then you'll be thinking a little more level-headed, and you can make a better decision. You can't act off of pure emotions and pride. You can be prideful. Don't be arrogant or cocky, okay? Be confident, but have a certain amount of pride, but don't always try to let a situation die down before you approach it. Don't act out of emotions. At times, like in a football game or fourth quarter, or you throw an interception, yeah, you might need some more emotions than sitting on the damn bench, not stepping up to the plate. That's a time where emotions and pride is probably a good thing to have. That's natural. That's a situation where your emotions can feed the team to give them motivation to build the morale of the team to go out and win the damn game. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Ain't nobody feeling sorry for you, man, or anybody else. Nobody feels sorry for me. All right. Pick your battles. The thing I was talking about with blueprints and stuff, like always pick your battles and know when to pick them. Don't pick them when you're pissed off, ready to punch somebody or something, Pick your battles and pick them wisely. You're not going to be able to win every battle, especially in marriage and stuff like that, and relationships. You can't win every battle, but pick your battles wisely and approach them a certain way. And, killing morale of a team. That's the last thing I want to say before I flip this page. But you got to understand how to build morale, and you have to learn what it means to kill morale. You can kill morale by how I talk to you, if I'm being a prick, or you can also kill morale by not being motivated enough, by not living by integrity enough, by not having enough drive within you to get a better team out of the team. That kills morale too. So doing too much kills morale, and not doing enough also kills morale. Remember that fine line I said earlier? You have to know the situational circumstances, pick your battles, and understand if you're killing morale one way or the other. Let me hang this here. Sorry, guys. True leaders lead, and when times get tough. True leaders lead when times get tough, and you dig deeper. If you're a true leader and you want to be a great leader, when times get tough, you don't get going, dude. You get really freaking tough, and you figure out what it means to dig deep. You dig, man. Being in the Army and stuff, I've dug so damn deep, man. Like, I was able to accomplish things I never thought was possible, where Prior to the Army, my pot smoking days, I would have given up a month ago kind of thing. You learn to dig deep. And most people, you guys have it right about here. You want to be really good, you dig deep here. And then you dig deep here. You dig deep until you've dug so damn deep you didn't even know you had it in you. That's what a real leader does. When times get tough, you get tougher. You don't get weaker. You don't feel sorry for yourself. You say, hell no, I ain't accepting mediocrity. Stand up. That's what real leaders do. That's how they step up to the plate. That motivates a team. You know, that's what the Raiders need. That's what we need. We're passionate. We're diehard. We're hardcore Raider fans. That's what we need. Giving up is never an option. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Sitting on your ass, feeling sorry for yourself is never, ever an option for somebody that's a true leader. In the Army, when I'm tired or I was running, I had to run 10 miles. You think you don't want to give up? That shit sucks, man. There ain't nothing happy about that. Sometimes it's horrible. But you never give up. And it's never even in the book. You have a book of words. Giving up is never an option. Not one single option. You cannot have that mindset. It's like an evil seed that will implant you and can't let it happen. All right. So now, let me get a drink of water real quick before we move on. Excuse me. Now we've talked about leadership. Everything I told you, if you want to be a leader, you want to be a great leader, everything I shared with you was a lot of years of experience. I've been extremely excited to do this video, to be honest with you, because I know what I know in here, and I've taught 7 different people in 6.5 years of management. I helped them either become a manager or supervisor underneath me. You know how I did that? Everything I taught you guys right there, because I saw something within those people and I helped them, of which, believe it or not, most of those people were ready to give up or quit by the time I came to the job. By the time I became their manager, they were like, F this place, I'm out of here. I told them, give me 3 to 6 months. That's all I asked for, 3 to 6 months, and see if we can start to see some change. If at that point you want to jump ship, well, then do it, man. But at least give me a fair shake. And the people that did, I helped them succeed. Every single one of them. To where if when I left the job and I have an employee tell me I was the best damn manager he's ever had in his life, that meant something. I don't know if I exactly agree with him. I was good. Not always the best, but I was there with my team. I was part of the team. When times got tough, I didn't just delegate. I got my hands muddy with them, man, because that's what real leaders do, in my opinion. That's what real leaders do. If you're going to be sucking ass, I'm sucking ass too. And we're going to get this done together. And that builds their morale. That makes them want to finish the mission and accomplish the goal. Instead of me saying, hey, you go do that over there. That's just delegation. Hitler was a delegator. How'd that work out for him? All right. Let's get into these Oakland Raiders and the leadership. Oakland Raiders and Derek Carr's leadership. Extremely controversial subject with Derek Carr. I'm going to say a lot of things right now that maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'll hold back a little bit for some of you guys. You guys on your seats right now want to know what I'm going to say, aren't you? First of all, I'm going to say this. Carr is a good or okay quarterback. But I'm not convinced on his leadership. I'm not. I'm just going to be honest with you guys right now. I don't know if he has the leadership for John Gruden, the Raiders, and the Raider Nation. It's not about his play on the field. My problem is about his leadership. All right. I want you guys to know something right now. I have backed Carr up to and through. Maybe after the Vikings game, I was a little heated and whatnot, and I had a right to be for lackluster play and lackluster leadership. And so did all of Raider Nation. Last year, I loved Derek Carr. I was sticking up for Derek Carr more than 90 to 98% of you damn Raider fans that are going to watch this. I was going to Stephen A's channel, sticking up for him. Max Kellerman, sticking up for him. Colin Coward, because he's a coward, sticking up for him. Shannon Sharp, the donkey face himself, sticking up for him. And how many Raider fans would go to those YouTube channels, watch a video about Derek Carr, you don't do nothing. You just let him bash your quarterback. You don't do nothing. And now all of a sudden, you guys are like, oh, I'm ride or die, dude. You just bury your freaking quarterback in the dirt and even do anything about it. If anything, you just threw a shovel full on the damn coffin and didn't want to do anything to help the guy. If anything, you're part of the problem too. You guys don't have the balls to step up to stick up for your damn quarterback, man. And I bleed silver and black. I'm going to ride this ship out with Derek Carr. But fools want to come at me, dude. Come on now. I was on Derek Carr's YouTube channel writing motivational stuff from the heart to motivate the guy. Who the hell was doing that? You guys just type it in there. I love Derek Carr. You're the greatest. You're the greatest. Man, I'm digging deep to try to do something to motivate this guy to step up to the plate, to be a better leader, to be the leader that I know he can be. And people aren't doing that, huh? But you guys act like you're butt buddies with Derek Carr. I'm not doing it, man. I'm not. I stuck up for the guy. I had his back. I did a close to a 60-minute long podcast with Raider Dave all about great things about Derek Carr last year. I stuck up for the guy, man. And a lot of us in Raider Nation has. But at what point is enough enough? At what point? At what point am I personally going to emotionally detach from Derek Carr so I'm not left hanging like I was with Khalil Mack? Answer you guys that. What's going to happen when Carr gets macked? How are you going to feel then? You're going to be pretty emotionally fucked up is what you're going to be. And you're going to hate John Gruden. Then it's going to be John Gruden's fault. And then, so it's going to go from us versus Carr fighting each other to us versus each other fighting over Gruden because Gruden gets rid of Carr or might get rid of Carr. I don't know. But 98% of Raider Nation, you guys have a problem with Derek Carr, right? You love him or you hate him or whatever. He needs better wide receivers or whatnot. I got it. I get it all. But that's not my take. My take isn't he needs to throw better. My take isn't he's got to do better running out of the pocket. He needs to throw the long ball. None of that stuff. My take is this. What did I just say about leadership? What did I just say about leadership? I've seen it. I may not be able to call plays unless I'm playing my stupid Madden video game, which I hardly ever play. I'm pretty well versed in football. I got a pretty good football mind, I would say. But that's not my best skill set. But I've dedicated years of my life how to lead and be a leader, how to kick ass, how to win, how to just win, baby. My first 2 years here in Colorado when I moved here, I took 10 actual days off. I was sucking ass, dude, working 7 days a week, vacation days, holidays, weekends, nights, evenings, you name it. I did it, dude. I dedicated that time. I spent time away from my wife and my newborn son at the time. Valuable time away from my family to accomplish what I've accomplished. You know what that's called? It's called fucking sacrifice. True sacrifice. Why? Because I had sacrificed before that. Not just for my country. When I got out of the army and I was almost fucking homeless. Who felt sorry for me? Did you guys feel sorry for me? Did you want to give me a fucking job? Fuck no. That's the reality. Thank you for serving your country, but we don't have any time to hire or a position to hire you because the economy tanked. Nobody's hiring anybody. It sucked. That's the reality. I'm stronger because of it, because of my sacrifice, because of my struggles, and I know what it's like to be at the bottom. And it gives me drive more than most of you motherfuckers that accepted mediocrity. People are going to come in here and you're going to attack me. Listen up. Listen up. You might fucking learn a thing or two, even if you're 60 years old with wrinkly balls. All right. Derek Carr is not a second or third year quarterback. He's not. Okay? He's a 6th-year quarterback. Be different if this was his 2nd or 3rd year, man. It's his 6th year in the NFL. Let's get real, okay? We got 3rd-string quarterbacks for the Steelers doing pretty damn good. And the most terrible thing about it is I've seen times where Carr does good and play well and lead well, and I've seen times where he doesn't. The hell's going on? What the hell's going on? Why is Josh Jacobs saying the team quit on the Oakland Raiders against the Jets? What the fuck? We got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And this is a big problem. Why is our quarterback, the leader of this team, not calling it out or doing something about it? Why is Josh Jacobs calling it like it is? We got a real problem here, guys. And Derek Carr is on the verge of losing this whole damn team. If you have your running back taking the position that your quarterback should be taking, that is huge. You cannot, I don't have any other words for it. It can't happen. If you're the leader, you got to be the leader. Simple as that. If you throw an interception, you can't go on the sideline feeling sorry for yourself. You got to step up to the plate. You got to rally up the troops. Let's go, man. We got this. We got this. I fucked up, but let's go. Does that motivate you, or does me going like this motivate you? No, dude. Use your brain. Use this. Like I said, man, most disappointing thing is how much I love, dude. That I've wanted Carr to succeed. I hope he proves me wrong. I want to be wrong. I do want to be wrong. But when I look at Carr and evaluate him and my experience and what I know about leadership, I got a lot of questions. Now, I'm not ready to kick Carr to the curb. I'm not going to go on social media bashing this guy. I'm going to try not to. But we got some leadership skill issues here. Is he trying to be people's friends? The hardest thing I ever had to learn to do was to be a leader. And this is the fine line. To be a leader and not care what people think about me. But my direct team, care what they think about me to some degree so I can lead them. But understand at the end of the day, I can be cordial towards you and compassionate towards you. We can have a relationship, right? But we're not frolicking through the forest, through a field of flowers, going to be best fucking buddies, singing, "It's my best friend." No, man. I'm here to get a job done. I'm here to succeed. And that's my goal. That's my mission. Now, I'll be compassionate and cordial towards you as a human being and as an employee, and I will appreciate you. But at the end of the day, when it comes to me or you, if it comes to me and my family life and my livelihood, no way, buddy. I know what I've worked for, and ain't nothing getting in the way of that. If you got to go, man, you getting the stiff arm, man. Hasta la vista. You out of here, buddy. All right. Carr's got to overcome adversity when times get bad. He cannot just lead when times are good. He has got to learn how to overcome that adversity. I thought Gruden could get it out of him. I mean, Carr said before the Chiefs game in that week, he's like, I don't like people yelling at me. Let's just get to the point and move on so we can correct things. Okay. I've coached people like that. I've trained people like that. I know what you're saying. But are you also accepting mediocrity? Are you making the sacrifices that is needed for this team? I don't know the answer to those things. I don't. I'm not him. I'm not there in the locker room. But I will guarantee you guys one fucking thing. If I was on this team and they had me coaching them, I don't mean the head coach, but like if I could spend time with Derek Carr, I could make him a great leader. I guarantee you it, because I know what it takes. I know how to win in life, and I've done it my whole life, and I came from nothing, dude. Absolutely nothing. I wasn't spoon-fed. I had no option to go to college. You guys get real, man. And maybe that's, I know Carr had some issues with his son and stuff. I don't want to talk about his family, but maybe he hasn't struggled enough. I don't know. I don't necessarily have the answers to this problem with Carr. I see an equation, I see a lot of problems, and it makes me extremely upset. You know why it makes me upset? Because I know he has it. I know he can do it. He's got to step up to the plate and be willing to be himself, be willing to go against the grain at times, and be willing to lead his men. And don't care about being their friend. You're there to get a damn job done. If you can't get that straight, what's the reality, Raider Nation? What's the reality? You guys already know the answer to that question, and so do I. He's got to be the leader that we need and want, and not the leader who he is today. He's got 4 games to figure it out. Sorry for some of this rants towards the end of this and through this and cussing, but this is some important stuff. I was excited to do a leadership video. I still am, because I know it can help a lot of people. But there's a lot of people on the fence with Carr and stuff, and it sucks. It sucks to have to make a leadership video, and I got to call it like it is. But I'm going to keep it real, and you guys should too. I love Carr. He's a great human being, a great man. He's a good or okay quarterback. He's been in the league 6 years. I'm looking at the long-term solution for the Raiders. What's the long-term solution? It's not about his arm. I don't care if he throws 2 picks, man. He's good enough where I know he can get the job done. What I care about is this right here, which is him being a leader of the team. And either he's got to step up to the plate to be that leader or not. And if not, I'm looking at the long-term plan for the Raiders. And unfortunately, it won't be the Oakland Raiders. You guys all know who it's going to be. Not looking at next year right now, but if things come down to it, I guess I'll have to look at next year and see who's in the draft. I don't want to. Carr's got 4 games to figure this shit out, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll be here next year. Maybe he'll be here 3 years. Maybe he figures this out. If you guys know Derek Carr, send him this shit. He needs some real talk right now. And this is some stuff that could really help the guy. I'm serious. If you guys know Derek Carr, have him watch this. This is what he needs. It's not what you want, but that's how life is. I'm giving you what you need, not what you want. All right, everybody. I'm Hardcore Raider. I'm going to end this the same way I started it, with these dope beats from Kenny, man. Raider Nation, stand up. I ain't jumping ship. I ain't walking the plank. I'm not even exactly giving up on Derek Carr, but he's got to be better than what he's been. He's got to be a better leader. You guys watch this, send it to Carr, have him watch this damn video. Be a better leader. Stop accepting mediocrity and being afraid of what people think about you. That's how you become great. And everything else I freaking said in this thing. All right, everybody. Done ranting. I'm out of here. I'm Hardcore Raider. Please check out the Hardcore Raider Nation podcast. We're bringing great Raider minds together for one cause. That's one nation. Raider Nation, baby. Let's go. Hardcore Raider out.